to LinkedIn Live with me, Spence, at the Prosperous Musician. And today we wanted to talk to you about live music, going live, of course. So I went to a festival recently here in Oslo. They have a free music festival, and basically there's free music all over the city. There's big stages, the small stages, everything in between, and it's a great celebration of live music. They do have a lot of festivals here, and there's lots of little folk festivals, and they just love live music. And it's a great way of nurturing young talent because the way they structure it is in the morning they have the younger element, if you like, the younger people. Young tends to be a lot of young metal bands or sort of rock bands. They get a chance to play on these pretty big stages that are scattered around the city. And then as the day wears on, the competency levels go higher, more experienced musicians get to play, and then obviously as we close out the day, the bigger acts take the stage and really finish off in style. So I think a lot can be learned from having this kind of approach, because if cities aren't demonstrating, like, physically putting the money and time and resources behind live music, if it's just lip service, then it doesn't really mean anything, does it? So take note, capital cities of the world, take a leaf out of Oslo's book, and why not just invest in one day of live music, completely free for everyone, where all kinds of music gets represented, all ages can play, and everyone gets a kind of taste and a flavor of live music. Because without this investment in the future of live music, then it looks where else are people going to get, where else are going to people get experience from? I mean, that's just the bottom line, isn't it? You can't learn to ride a bike at a seminar. Now, that's the title of a good book that you should read as well. But what that means is that you can't just learn something from academically. You have to practice it, and live music is no different. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because I'm doing a workshop on the 12th of June. And you might say, well, you've just said you can't learn to ride a bike at a seminar, which is true. So this workshop, you're not going to suddenly learn how to become a brilliant musician, but what it is, it's starting you off in the right path, on the right way. It's giving you the tools, it's giving you the structure to work on your live performance. Now, why is a live performance important? Well, some of the things that I saw at this festival, and as I said, it was more of the amateur bands in the morning, but in the afternoon there were like quite professional acts playing. And what I saw, they were very good. They had great sound. The sound engineers were very good, and they had great songs. A lot of them had really good songs. But time and again, I saw in between songs is where a lot of bands fall apart. It's where a lot of bands suddenly revert or relapse back into amateur rehearsal room kind of behavior. And what I mean by that is, so for example, this one band, it was kind of like a country. They had an accordion player, banjo player, a fiddle player, a guy, lead singer, who was also playing acoustic guitar, and they had a bassist and drummer. So there's a lot of people on stage. They made a really nice noise, and it was very dancey. It was at the right time of day, sort of mid-afternoon. People were loosening up, and people were dancing and getting down to it. And I wish I could show you the clip, but I haven't had. I can't actually get it onto the laptop here. But so what happened basically was, as soon as this one song finished, and it got a great response, even as it finished, as the guy saying thank you, the lady's tuning up the violin, like straight away. The guy is tuning up his banjo, and the accordion player is just standing there, smiling at the audience, not doing anything. The lead singer, is tuning up his guitar. No one's doing anything other than tuning up. It's dead silent, apart from the of the violin, which we all know is a horrible sound, which shouldn't ever be really heard outside of a rehearsal room. So he had this great sort of energy. Suddenly, just collapse into this kind of amateur hour. And I timed it, and it was just over a minute of this kind of person tuning up the violin, the guy tuning up his guitar. Occasionally, he'd say something to the audience, but it wasn't like anything thought out. It was just him thinking, "Oh, I've got to say something," and he would say like, "Are you okay? Yeah, okay. Are you all right?" You know, that kind of stuff. Just had no idea what to do. Everyone kind of froze, and it was just kind of cringe, really. And luckily, the people who were, for them anyway, luckily the song that preceded it had got enough people forward to start dancing, and there was a bit of momentum. But they'd kind of lost a lot of that by the next song. They had to sort of do it all over again. They had to build it up and get people engaged again. So this is the thing that I see time and again at this kind of level. It's not so much the songs. I mean, these guys actually invited the people down to the front, which is also which was great. You know, come down to the front. You know, because people were backing off. So you know, bringing people in. They were doing a lot of the right things, but time and again. And it happened 2 or 3 times in the set. They'd get a bit of momentum going, and occasionally they'd go from one track straight into the next, which was good. But then whenever there was a gap, there would be somebody tuning up, and 5, 6 people in the band, and no one had anything to say. No one was setting up the next song. No one was engaging the crowd in something. Now, you know, if you've got a 5 or 6 piece band, there should be at least 1 or 2 of you that can carry the story, carry the momentum, set up the next song. Even if everyone else is tuning up, that's fine, but you have to keep the engagement going. And there's a saying, if you on radio, for example, dead air is a crime. You know, if you ever listen to the radio, any kind of daytime radio, any kind of radio, commercial radio, you will never hear deliberately a second of dead air. You'll never hear a bit where nobody knows what to say, or there isn't something happening in the background. And this is why when you hear radio and stuff, they have a bed, like a bed of music in the background, which usually it's called ducking. So when the announcer, the presenter's talking over the top, the music's low, and whenever he stops talking, the music comes up again to fill that gap. And then when he starts talking, then it goes down, and it does that automatic ducking. And the reason for that is because dead air is a crime. It's jolting, it's jarring, you know, and it's just audio. There's no visual to sort of to distract you with the senses. It's all through the ears, so everything has to be smooth with the ears. And so think about that when you're doing your show. You know, how can you transition? How can you create this bed of audio that's going on? And it doesn't always have to be talking. It can be tune. So in going back to this span, for example, you know, in those kind of situations. Now, for example, generally, if you're planning out a show, then for a start, there'll be no gaps like that anyway, because everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing and when. And this is why it was a dead giveaway that they hadn't really put a show together. They just put a gig together. They got a set list and they knew which songs to play, but they didn't know how to link those songs together, and they didn't know why they were linking those songs together a lot of the time. And so it's essential that you have that and you rehearse that kind of in between song. What do we do? And of course, things happen. Maybe the sound goes down, maybe the instrument fails. Things are always going to happen on the fly that you have to adjust to. But if you've got a 5 or 6 piece band, then there's always at least 2 people, 3 people can cover for that. So usually the drummer doesn't have to tune up, right? The drummer shouldn't be fiddling with anything in between. His drums are pretty much set. Same with an accordion player. Keys, you don't have to tune those up, and it's all pretty set. So those guys could have got a little rhythm going, could have had this little kind of incidental music that they just go straight into. They go, the guy's tuning up. They're all tuning up. Maybe he's broke a string or something's happened. So we instantly go into this little tune that we play, and then you've got a bed of music, you know, got a little rhythm going, so people are engaged. People who are just walking up to listen are going, oh, there's music still happening. There's no just gap and silence. And then you buying yourself some time, you're creating a bed. And then there should be setting up the next song building up the next songs, telling the story of the next song. Or you're doing audience engagement where you're getting people to do call and response. Or you're talking about, you start to sell from the stage. So you can say, okay, this is the next single, this is our debut single. Thanks to everyone who bought it. Or, this is a song that we wrote about this town when we were on tour, and tell the little story about that. And it's got this, and then maybe this song has got this particular lyric in it, and that lyric is on the t-shirts and the merch stand. So you want to particularly push that and sell that a bit more. I mean, and I don't mean sell it necessarily, sell it like in terms of buy this now, but get the lyric in people's heads. So when they see the merch stand and say, oh, there's the lyric there, I like that song. And, they're making the connection. So there's, it's kind of working together. You're not just throwing things in and see if they're working. Make sure that whatever you say from stage is setting up the next song, or it's setting up stuff that you're selling on the merch stand. So we're talking about sets. I've developed a system called the set system, and it's basically, it's as we have set lists, we have sets in the workshop. So the workshop is happening on the 12th of June. That's Monday, the 12th of June. The tickets are available. You can see the tickets here. Yeah, the tickets are available here. Let me just double check the link is correct. Yep. So basically, if you're interested in creating a show, you're in a band and you want to get the kind of show that makes people want to come back. It kind of makes people go, wow, I really love that. It makes people go, I want to buy your merch. It makes people go, hey, you guys, when are you playing next? It makes people go, hey, I want to follow you on social media. You've won a new fan, that kind of thing. So here is the link for that if you want to get involved. If you can scan that. So it's the live performance enhancement workshop, and it's based around the set system. So first of all, it's about mindset, and it all begins between the ears. That's the biggest battle. So we set you up and create the mindset of a top performer. Then we talk about setting up your set list and creating your set list, which is the framework for your show. Then we talk about how you set up songs, and this is what I was talking about earlier, which is basically anything that happens in between the songs is setting up the song. So you're setting up the next song, you're setting up the show, you're setting up what's going to happen next. So you're always looking forward, you're always setting up the next thing. And obviously when you get to the end of the show, you're setting up what's going to happen next. So what's going to happen next is we're going to be in a merch stand. You're going to come over and you're going to, we've got bundles, we've got special offer bundles on today, all these kind of things. You're setting up the next thing. So there's always something to go forward with. And then obviously what I was talking about, then you're setting your stall out, you're setting the merch stall out. And then, you're meeting your fans, you're engaging with them, you're getting them on your mailing list, and then the whole cycle starts again. So if this is something you're interested in, if you're sick of playing gigs where it's half empty audiences, we're all on the phones, no one's really paying attention, if you're sick and tired of having to fight and scrabble and hustle for every gig because no one's giving you a break, then this might be for you, because it doesn't take a lot really to make a big difference. So with a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of structure, a little bit of strategy, a little bit of kind of forethought, you can very easily transform what you're doing into something unrecognizable in some ways. You can very quickly transform it into something that is a lot more professional. And at the bottom line, it's a lot more fun for you, because if you go on the stage and you know exactly what you're going to do from the minute you strike the first chord to when you leave the stage and you go to the merch stand, you know exactly what's going to happen between every song, in the middle of each song, in each song, you know exactly what your members of your band are going to be doing in each song, and there's you're not just on the wing, you're not just kind of improvising, although you know that can be fun as well if you're playing jazz. But if you want to be able to just relax on stage and really commit emotionally to the songs and not have to think about what I'm going to say next and spending all that energy on that, then this is the workshop for you. Now, it's if you want to join, it's a 90-minute workshop. We don't go deep on everything because we haven't got time to go deep on everything. But this workshop will definitely give you the building blocks to go forward and create a brilliant show. However, if you want to continue and go even deeper into any of the aspects, into any of the sets, then there's an opportunity to do that as well. And we'll talk about that when you get on the workshop. So that's link again, if you're watching this on catch up, if you're watching this on review, it is on Monday, the 12th of June, the live performance enhancement workshop. And we've had people already talking about this, and one of the attendees last time, Gary, he's already saying that it's working for him and his band, and we'll put his quote up a bit later. So get involved. You know, this is, you know, Spotify streams, streaming. You know, that's all very well. That's kind of a byproduct. Should be a byproduct of you being a great live performer, because then people want to go, oh yeah, I want to listen to these guys. I saw them on stage. They're brilliant. And if you think about it, time and again, yeah, you can listen to music, pre-recorded music, you can listen to streaming music. That's great. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But you can't, in this day and age, if you're up and coming, if you're just starting out, it's very difficult to build an income, to get a living just from streams. You know, I think everyone knows that's true. And so you need lots of different income streams. And one of the tried and tested and probably the most lucrative is, at the moment, I would say, playing live, because, you know, there's so many different ways you can monetize it as well. And we talk about that in the workshop, how you can actually monetize. And you can also guarantee to get paid. You can also there's lots of different streams of getting paid, not just from selling merch, but there's lots of others which I'm going to talk about in the course. And it's worth it just for that information alone, because the amount of musicians I speak to, when I tell them this stuff, they have no idea. And first of all, they're surprised, and then they get a bit kind of angry, going, "What? How did I not know this? I've been leaving so much money on the table. Now I know this, I can claim it back." And this is something anybody can do. It's not just for certain people, it's for anybody. So if you want to know all these kind of little kind of strategies as well, which I will be revealing on the workshop, I guarantee that if you do and implement everything that I say in this workshop, you will guaranteed to maximize your income stream, you'll maximize your enjoyment, and you will make a bigger impact next time you play live. And of course, it's not going to happen 100% overnight. This is things you have to put in place over time. It takes time to develop. It takes time to implement new strategies. It takes time to change your mindset, you know, because a lot of people, artists in particular, you know, you can tell an artist, but you can't tell them much, you know. Everyone's got their own ideas. A lot of, me included, a lot of artists are very willful, full of self-will, think their ideas are the best, and will stick doggedly to something even if it's not working, just because it's their idea. Now, is that you? You have to look at yourself honestly here. You know, this is for you. If you have got a little bit, even a tiny bit of willingness, if you've got a tiny bit of, yeah, actually, I'm open to trying something new, and it's probably going to feel different, and I might not agree with it, and I might think it's stupid, and I might want to do my own thing, but you know what? Why not just try something new? And you know, if you do try it and you find out it doesn't work, then you can always go back to your old idea, which isn't working anyway. So what have you lost? Nothing. So with that in mind, click on the link here, click on the QR code. I will, if you're watching this on replay, there will be a link in the comments as well if this one doesn't work, it should. And if you're also just curious and you want to have a chat, you want to talk about where you're at, if you need some help with your live performance, or you want to ask me any questions, you can book a free call. The link is in the bio, my bio here on LinkedIn. So yeah, just get in there, book yourself a little session. It's free, completely free, 20-minute call, no obligation to buy anything. Just want to, if you just want to chat, you want to sort of ask me a question or you want some advice, happy to do that. So with that, I'll leave you to have a very prosperous Thursday, and see you next week. Oh yeah, and by the way, next week we have a very special guest, who I will tell you more about as we go along. But it's a guest that we were going to have on a couple of weeks ago for lots of different reasons. It didn't work out, but next week they're going to be on, and they're going to be telling us all about how they've got going up the charts with their new single. They've got a great team behind them, award-winning managers, award-winning producers. It's all very exciting, and things are looking bright for this young lady who's going to be my guest next week. At the moment, I think she's on 116,000 TikTok followers, so she's building her audience quite well, and she could be one to watch. So join me next week when I'll be talking to my very special guest, Tammy Mariah, sorry. Okay, so take it easy. Have a great week. Have a prosperous week, and I'll see you